So we do have a few minutes for questions. So if you've got important pressing questions for the panel, please do raise them. Anand?
So again, a
And then
very
Carl.
interesting panel. I mean, one area I
Isaac.
think we probably have not done enough on is science communication. I saw that as a theme, that there seems to be a lack of popular perception around why we need to do genetic research or biobanking. And I think there is a whole bunch of science journalists available who are willing to network or to read, who we need to reach out to. So I was just tweeting some of the session findings, and I had a science journalist respond and say, I have seen similar issues with folks doing family planning or HIV/AIDS communication in India, where they are, they are accused of bringing in immoral concepts into the community. Some of them have been beaten up. So there is a need to respond to that, and I think part of that should probably be working with science communication specialists or media folks in building a popular narrative around science and why there is a need for biobanking or genetic research. I think that's an important component we need to focus on as well.
Thank you very much. Anand, did you want to address that to any particular speaker? Is it just a comment, essentially? Okay, let's pick up a few points first. In the interest of time, Carla, any comments?
Yes, so Majulika brought the topic of medical records to the discussion of issues of privacy and confidentiality. And I think we've talked a lot about data sharing and perhaps not enough, and the difficulties of sharing data and the importance of sharing data, but perhaps not sufficiently about careless data sharing and the problems that can have. And one problem that we see very often in Latin America and the Caribbean is that medical records and surveillance records on sensitive topics are shared for research purposes without any informing in any way or without any consent of from the persons whose data are being shared. So, for example, if you want to do a research on HIV, you go as, I don't know, University X, can be local or foreign. You ask the national system, the national hospitals, for all the information of the HIV patients, their names and their phone numbers, so then you start your research when you call, like, hi, I'm calling you because I want to know if people with HIV are adhering to their treatment or not. So we get about once a month a protocol like this that has already been approved by an ethics review committee, and I mean, the last one I saw last week was on bipolar disorder. So I think that from the perspective of the regulations, this might be an issue that we want to make sure is clarified and covered, so the push for data sharing to advance research doesn't get interpreted as a push for this careless sharing that then causes lack of trust among the population. You know, how do you know that I have HIV, for example, or stuff like that?
Thank you very much. Before I invite, Anna, yeah.
I just wanted to add that in Argentina we have a law of data protection, and that is clear that personal data and medical records are sensitive data. So and the owner is the patient. This is clear, and when you have to do that kind of research or epidemiological research, if there's some data linked, you need to have an informed consent. And that is something that today research ethics committees are evaluating.
Thank you, Isaac.
Yes, Diallo, thank you very much for sharing that comprehensive plan for countries to share data. I just wanted to understand if this whole data sharing plan is involving all the stakeholders that collected and have generated massive data outside the 3 affected countries. Data that is in the US, is in the UK, and everywhere else.
Thank you.
And also comment about the specimen, because you focus more about the data, but also specimen and secondary specimen from these Ebola samples. There are lots of cultures, there are lots of monoclonals from memory B cells and all these other specimens that are coming up.
tous les stakeholders sont consultés sur toutes les choses concernant les échantillons et les données. Par exemple, les chercheurs d'ailleurs, et et les échantillons qui sont maintenant déjà dans les autres pays, l'évolution de ces décisions.
Une bonne question. Je pense que c'est extrêmement sensible cette question. Le problème, les échantillons sont sortis du pays pendant la pire des crises de l'épidémie, sous prétexte que c'est dans le domaine de la recherche. Il est hors de question pendant la crise de l'épidémie, l'urgence de santé publique, de ne pas accepter qu'on pousse la recherche. Un. Deuxième chose, les gens sont venus sous le prétexte humanitaire pour dire nous venons apporter un soutien, nous venons aider à sauver des vies. Donc, les gens ont fait des prélèvements, ils ont pris des données. En réalité, nous ne savons pas quelle est la quantité et quelles sont les destinations.
So this all happened during the worst, it was part of the epidemic, and there was no question of being able to institute a form of governance or awareness of what was actually being, the control of the samples. Second, the people that came to take them came under the pretext of, under the cover of humanitarian and compassionate support, but in fact, and to save lives, etc. But in fact, the country has no idea how much was taken, what for, etc. And where. Yes, in fact, there's some documentation of where, but it's certainly not complete. They're in all sorts of countries. Yes, there's huge numbers in the U.S., in France, in Germany. They're all, and then those are the ones they know about, basically. The ones they don't know about.
Thank you very much. I have Asim.
So my question was very similar to what's already been asked, but my secondary question is, are those individuals or institutions on the board of the data sharing plan right now? And my question is that does it then justify that people who took it for humanitarian, who came in for humanitarian works and then have taken the samples are now also the custodians of the data that are now going to be shared by individual countries? It just sounds horrendous to me that the people who actually took it are now in control and now have made a justification to sort of be a part of a consortium or a thing that they're now going to be able to decide who's going to get the data and how they're going to get it. It just sounds terrible.
Thank you. So that'll be a question for Alpha.
Right, so that's also for, indeed, this was something he mentioned in the presentation, so I can answer it more or less directly. Mm-hmm. So yes, the ones that are known are, many of them are involved, but not all. And yes, there is some skewing of this, but I would say, and we were discussing this earlier, that the bigger issues are not the ones who we know about and are actively involved, but the ones who were not known and who are not involved.
So is there a plan to actually let the public know?
Est-ce que le public, est-ce qu'ils sont au courant avec tout ça?
Bon, je pense qu'au niveau du ministère de la Santé, on est bien au courant, on est bien au conscient des enjeux. Mais quelle est la procédure? Comment s'y prendre? En réalité, à ma connaissance, je ne dis pas que ce n'est pas fait, mais à ma connaissance, il y a peu d'actions dans le sens de récupérer ces données, même si on ne les récupère pas, mais au moins que les droits du pays soient préservés dans le cadre de ces données et des échantillons. Je pense que probablement avec l'OMS et d'autres partenaires, il se pourrait que des mécanismes ou des procédures soient engagés dans ce sens. Mais je ne sais pas combien de temps ça va prendre.
Mais on parle aussi du public guinéen.
Oui, je parle du public guinéen. Je pense que le ministère de la Santé est bien conscient de l'enjeu Mais à ma connaissance, il n'y a pas encore de procédure ou de mécanisme défini dans le sens de s'approprier de ces données et de les expatrier éventuellement.
So he said that the Ministry of Health is very aware of this, and I'm repeating the question, that the public is aware, but what has not yet been worked out is how to actually engage and make arrangements to recover these samples at some point, or the data.
So thank you very much for your attention, and please do join me again in thanking all our presenters. Thank you. Great job. Thank you.